Do we have an exciting show for you today? Welcome to the Baxter Effect. I know we changed names, but it fits a lot better from what we're doing. We talk about politics, health and wellness, economy, med beds, advanced health technology, and I got an exciting show for you today. I got to tell you, did you get to see the RFK hearing? How crazy was that? You realize that, no one wants them to be there. All the donors that were liberal political donors were on the stage giving him so much grief. And I gotta take my hat off to RFK. He's stuck in there like a champion. And there's going to be an exciting talk today. We're going to cover a little bit of RFK, and we're also going to have a special guest in medbed technology on the show, a pioneer, a guy that's done so much in his career, a guy that really wants to help humanity. And it fits right along the line with, RFK and the possibly being sworn in as the head of Health and Human Services. So we got an exciting call today. And of course, I wanted to cover this highlight of what would really happen if RFK did get sworn in. There's that battle between conventional medicine and this new form of medicine that we'll talk about today. It could be frequency medicine. It could be called truthful medicine. It could be called taxpayer medicine, for goodness sake, right? Because really, what are we really doing here? The taxpayers have no say, but the political donors have so much more rights and privileges today than the people paying the taxes. So, if you have a concern, post it in the comments. We'll get right to it. And that's part of the show. Get involved. The truth is hard to find. And that's why we do this. The Baxter Effect, we will open that purple door of truth. We talk about the pros, the cons of what might be the truth, but realize the truth is with you. You can do your own research. You have common sense. These are the things that are important. And if we don't talk about it, we're not going to bridge the gap and get further down the line. We're not going to lay any tracks to get us from point A to point B. And if Robert Kennedy Jr. were to be sworn in, what I realized during the hearing yesterday is that it's going to shake the core of the medical system. I looked at the people. Joe Biden got $92 million from vaccine donors. And then it goes down the list. You can find out everything from who's donating to who's the donor to that political candidate. And I even seen Mike Pence on there, Republican. He's gotten over $52 million from vaccines. If you get a chance, research that, what I just said. Know who you're talking about. Know who's talking. Who did they let on the stage to ask, RFK questions, right? It seems so one-sided, as if we're not the country that spends 10 times more than the next country in healthcare, yet has the worst health outcomes, the worst chronic health diseases. Post what you think. I'd love to hear what you have to say. And it goes back to the Baxter Effect. Uncensored versus censored news. I'm just really here to get to the point, the sharp spear, right? The place where we need to move forward. And let me know what you think. Post in the comments. Let me know what you think about RFK Jr. I really hope that he gets sworn in at this point. It's time for a change, and I think a lot of people are asking for it. He's already made some significant strides, and I think if he doesn't get sworn in, I think there's a real problem that we're facing as a country. So yeah, please post, and we will get to your questions shortly. But I've got to bring someone in. His name is Sean Callahan. Sean, welcome to the Baxter Effect. Nice to see you. How's it going?
It's going great, man. Thank you so much for having me on. And the RFK Jr. is a big deal, man. That is a big, big deal. And it's an epic fight, not only for the health, it's an epic fight for, change that needs to come. And you are going to see an epic battle between, the, you know, the dark and the light, I guess. I don't really like to get that deep into it, but it really is. I mean, there's a lot of people that want to keep the status quo, and there's a lot of people that want to see change. And John, everything you're about and what I'm trying to become more about is being in that change where we're starting to access and start using new technology, and we're starting to look to the future. And this whole thing with RFK, this is a big deal because even though, John, we can get into a lot of the medbed stuff, and we will, I think the biggest story really is the untold technology that's been around us the whole time that we've never really had access to, or really not ever got put out to the mainstream. And you are very well versed in this technology, and you obviously not only know it, but you have it. But that gets into the Tesla plasma, that gets into the Lakhovsky multi-wave oscillators, that gets into the Rife technology. And these are all people that were brilliant people that had amazing technology that's light years ahead of what we're even doing now. And it's 100 years ago. And these guys are just getting the snot beat out of them. And in many cases, threatened, killed. And these technologies never made it out to the forefront. So, when we get in and we talk about med beds and med bed technology, it's difficult to do that without acknowledging the previous predecessors and the people that came before us that, that really had amazing technology that 99% or probably 95% at least of the general public knows nothing about. And we all know Tesla, but we don't really know Tesla. Like, we don't know, the times he was told to just, dumb it down and get in a corner, and that wasn't going to happen. And, and Tesla saw a lot of these people around him either getting killed or, having issues. And he knew that he was on thin ice when he started getting into some of the technology. And therefore, as great of a man he was, there's just so much that we don't know on the behind the scenes. So RFK brings to light the past, the present, the future. And, the famous quote, which you've got in the office there, is that the future of medicine will be the medicine of frequencies, which is an Albert Einstein quote. And, we get into, just so much, we're tying into our roots, we're going into the future, but the past is integrally integrated with that, because you've also got that beautiful picture in the one room there where you've got the Native American Indians, the Sioux, the indigenous people that understood the power of grounding and the energy that came just from the earth, which is so incredibly powerful. And they were in tune with all these things, and very, very powerful, very, very powerful modalities and technology. That's something as simple as the earth that, indigenous people were ingrained in and used for healing for thousands and thousands of years. So with that being said, man, it's epic times right now. I hope, as we probably all do, that this gentleman gets an opportunity to go out and do some change, because it's needed and it's time. And I think we're ready for it. And with that being said, by God's grace, hopefully we'll see that happen in the very near future.
Thank you so much, Sean. And I need to give Sean a proper introduction. Sean's been a pioneer, a leading innovator in medbed, but it started from basically hospital, medical devices, this type of thing. Many, many years assisting everyday people. And we have a very similar past, more on the lines of the consumer side of this and leading into medical. But what we have here is two guys pioneering, taking their life work, assisting people with this advanced health technology. So I thought it was important that you guys would know this, because you're talking to two guys, and definitely Sean is the person that we have on the show today that has the history, that has the understanding, the 100-year plus knowledge that we didn't really need to go into the future to get this scientific breakthroughs. We had to go into our past, the uncensored era of where the Rockefellers took over big pharma, monopolized where we are today. We're actually at a pivotal point in history where that system is being broken. Could you imagine one family owning all of big pharma at the root core level all these years? Do you think that the media, our educational system was all taken over by the same people that monopolize healthcare? So it really is today sick care. It's at a pivotal point where the system's going to be shaken to the root. And one of my questions, Sean, was, we hear about medbed and science. And one of the things I wanted to know today is that some people could be skeptical, right? People don't know what they don't know. What could you tell them about medbed and science that could kind of shape their reality after doing this such a long time?
Thanks, John. Well, I think that's part of the process, is the educational process, right? And even for myself, being in the medical industry, the medbed technology and all that it's very similar in many ways, but it's a whole new vernacular, and it's a whole nother knowledge base of information. And in order to really understand it, you have to get into the physics of it. And that's really where the fun begins, because as you delve in and learn the physics of what this really actually is, it becomes very fun and it becomes very entertaining. And you're going to find that there's a lot of, oh, wow moments, like, wow, I didn't know that, or wow, I didn't know this. And all those different things help you educate yourself to understand the basic premise of not only health and wellness, but how everything around you works. And I really like the work of Royal Raymond Rife, and Rife, and John, I just want to just even say, just for a second, I'm still in the medical industry. I still sell medical equipment. My whole quest to get into this is based on the fact that I deal with really messed up people every single day, right? Yesterday, a family came in, their son got thrown out the front of a car, broke his back. He's quadriplegic. I deal every single day with people that need technology now, right? And so this is what led me on the quest to get into this health and wellness. And I know the future is bright, and I know that there's a lot of amazing things coming, but I'm all about what do we got right now. So I just have to just preface that and put that in, because it can be very difficult sometimes to get these people calling me. And initially they're coming in for medical equipment, and sometimes I'll talk to them about some of the other technology. But the educational process with learning how this stuff works it really starts with Royal Raymond Rife. Now, it's really basic building block steps. And Rife was an amazing individual. In the 1920s, he worked for Zeiss. Zeiss is still to this day creates one of the most powerful surgical microscopes made. But Rife had worked there, had left there, and he put together a microscope in the 20s that had over 6,000 working parts to it, and it had a magnification of 60,000 time magnification. So if you can imagine, in the 1920s, Rife in there in this lab making this microscope that's so powerful that he can see living organisms underneath the glass, and literally watch these microorganisms grow and expand. And what Rife did is he literally ran frequency sets through these microorganisms, through these cells, and he assembled this database of information on what would stimulate a cell and what would dissipate or remove a bad cell. And so it's a very simple prognosis, which is everything runs at a frequency. And if you want to understand, what frequency this cell operates on, his research actually went in and categorized and put all that information together so that we would have that. And today there's literally hundreds, if not thousands, of different technologies that run the right frequency sets. but it's a very simple premise, and it's not too hard to grasp, and it's 100% physics-based, science, that everything is vibrating, everything's running at a frequency, and that, frequencies can be used, whether it's through sound, whether it's through EMF, or whether it's through photons or light. You can transmit these frequency sets into the body. And so that is your basic premise and basic understanding. And then with various different technologies, they will have different ways of run frequencies into the body. One of the technologies, which is the plasma-based technology, you get a book that's literally like a little catalog where everything's in alphabetical order. You can literally just go through the book and say, oh yeah, I want to run this frequency set for this bodily issue. And it could be something good. It could be something as, I want to say, hey, I want to cleanse my liver or cleanse my thyroid or do something like that. Or, there's a host of different things that are available. But, once again, it's just basic building blocks of understanding how things work. And then once you have that foundational understanding, you add another block on how this piece of technology works and how that piece of technology works. And then you literally are able to follow the development and the science of this technology. So what I usually do is say, look, Rife and Lakovsky and some of these people, they were first generation. They were brilliant people. They put a lot of this information out. But then you had guys like Anton Prairie out of France who worked with the French government that took the work of these guys, and in the 60s, was bringing plasma tubes with cranes down through the rooftop of his lab in France, and then doing all kinds of additional work and building on the work that those guys did. And then you have guys nowadays, that are third generation people that are picking up and moving that technology even further forward. And, we won't get too much into this now, but honestly, John, there's a lot of technology that's very sophisticated and very advanced that they're finding that was inscribed in hieroglyphics, that was being used perhaps even thousands of years ago. Even the actual structure of the pyramids, there's a guy named Sam Brazanovich who is, he's spent a lot of time at the Bosnian pyramid. He was basically one of the gentlemen that was able to open up the chambers down there and spend time and working in the Bosnian pyramid. And they've had over 5,000 documented scientific studies of people having near miraculous types of happenings while they're working in something as simple as the tunnels underneath the Bosnian pyramid.
Wow, that's super interesting. So I hope you guys are getting a lot of information there. Where did this come from? It sounds like there's some very solid, concrete evidence of where this started, maybe much more than the current medical system. So that's a hidden information that you're getting here, that the current system is made of petroleum-based pharmaceutical drugs. And it was based on the monopoly of not only oil, but of the pharmaceutical industry. So we're still living within that monopoly. It's about ready to crack. This whole system is going to be shaken once, which appears RFK will be sworn in. And the time is really perfect, because if you think about it, if we had been running down this for 100 years, who would have thought this juncture in time would be the time where this stuff would be released? Now you're hearing about the resistance. Well, yeah, there's a lot of resistance to get this information out there. Of course, you may not have heard what happened to these people that help people, but their heart and their soul were in the right place. You really can't stop someone from doing what is the right thing to do, right? Because at the end of the day, our sole mission and purpose is to know the pros and cons, but actually do the right thing. I think that's where you see you see people suffering with chronic diseases that they were likely given. And so the pain there is to watch people suffer and do nothing about it. And I think that's where a lot of the movement is right now. We've seen close family members, close friends, family, kids, aging adults that we love suffer in a system of sick care where there's not a lot of information. There's compelling information given to you on both sides to keep you confused and lost. But I think where we're going with this is of course there's an understanding of like conventional medicine versus med beds. There's resistance and there's truth. Like, could you talk on some of these topics, Sean, in regards to, how does this get out? What are the major factors, and how do you see it comparing to the current system of medicine?
Well, I think like with anything, John, it's just a natural evolution of us getting more advanced and improving on everything that we're doing. And so I do believe that with anything, the natural goal is to keep seeing a progression and keep seeing improvement, keep seeing better results, keep seeing new breakthroughs, and eventually seeing a lot of these problems eradicated. And I think that the biggest issue that I see now is that a list of things are getting worse and worse and not getting better and better, right? And so if you go to something like, I want to say like the measles, and now granted that was a little bit before my time, but there was a big problem with the measles, right? And they came out and they found a vaccine that would help that, and they put it out and they disappeared. Like, you don't really hear about that anymore. But I think the biggest problem now is that there is a massive acceleration in all these problems, and we're not seeing any solutions. I think that's probably the thing that's most troubling, and that would be your Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, dementia. I'm 58, and back in the day, that was very rarely ever heard of. I mean, it was very rare that you heard of many people suffering from that. But nowadays, this is becoming at an epidemic level. The issues with the kids, with the what is the issue that the kids have that are nonverbal? It's slipping my moment. Autism. I mean, these issues did not exist 30, 40 years ago. I mean, these issues now are like they're exponentially growing. The numbers keep getting worse and worse. And so, I think that instead of us seeing the numbers getting worse and worse, we're like with anything wanting to see them get better and better. And so there's a part of that where we have to start looking at other solutions, because clearly whatever it is that we're doing right now, it doesn't seem to be working. If the numbers keep getting out of control and they keep getting worse, we have to obviously do a little due diligence, try to figure out what we can do individually to prevent that from happening. And maybe that's taking a more of an active role in education and or doing a better job with health and wellness. But I think that what you're seeing right now is people saying enough is enough, and whatever it is that we're doing, it doesn't seem to be working. And what do we have to lose? Like, how much worse can it get? So I think that we're at the point right now where it's like, no, I've seen enough of this, and I'm not happy with where it's going. And unless, I can really see something different changing the system, we need somebody different in the system to change it from the inside. And so I think that's really what you're starting to see. And I would just say, John, for anybody that's out there that's watching this, because this is a time capsule and this is all going through, you need to get on the phone and contact your congressperson. You need to get out there and make contact with people that are in a decision-making process that are going to influence how this turns out, whatever it is that you represent. Like with anything, we're Americans and we support each other, and everybody's entitled to have their opinion. But if you are really out there and you want to see change, you have to get off your hind end. You've got to get on the phone. You've got to take an active part to do what you can do to see this change occur, because it's a culmination of all of us. We can't dump this on RFK Jr. and say, go get them. And then we're just sitting there, eating Cheetos on the couch, watching, some goofball TV show. This is about everybody as a whole stepping up, doing what each one of us can do. And right now, this is a very timely message. So if you really are about this and you want to see change, and you're dealing with family members that are going into a home because they can't be cared for. And if you know, are seeing a lot of kids that you know that have issues with whether it's ADHD or any of these other issues that really didn't exist when I was a kid, you need to step up. And honestly, John, I always find it's the moms, it's the parents. They're the ones that say, look, they're the fearless warriors that go into battle because they'll do anything for their kids. They'll do anything for their loved ones. And, you know, men obviously can be warriors as well. But I always get inspired when I see women at the forefront because they're at the point now where they don't care. And they don't care about putting themselves out there. They don't care about the ramifications. They don't care if their channel gets banned. They don't care if they get threatened. They don't care about anything. They're all in, like the mama bear for the baby bear. They will go through overwhelming odds and they will stop at nothing. So this is a message to all of you watching today. Go out there, do your part, call your congressman, tell him you support them, tell him what you want to see happen, and make an active participant into your lifestyle right now to make this change happen for everybody, not just you, but all those people that are going to need, you know, the new technologies and all the things that, you know, this change can occur will bring to us.
That's great. That's great. Thank you for sharing that. Right on, Sean. And we realize that the First Amendment is our most important amendment for a taxpayer citizen scenario, right? Because if we don't share and speak, we are basically muzzled. And if we're muzzled, we're basically enslaved. So what I realized is I know during the press secretary conference at the Donald Trump, now that he's in office, there is the whitehouse.gov/new media. They're getting rid of mainstream media people to ask questions, and they're allowing people like me and other people the options or the availability to be at those press conferences asking questions. And so if that's something that interests you, I can post it in the comments, whitehouse.gov/new media, and you can get your information out there as well. So I like the fact that First Amendment is being pushed instead of this mainstream media narrative. And when we go to MedBed, it's important that we even talk about some of the real world success stories. I know, as you know, I've seen the stars, I've seen the celebrities. We work with these people, and it never ends. I had 4 celebrities reach out to me in the last 24 hours. They are at the level where it's not that it's someone just prominent, but they realize that what we realize is that the people that have the resources and capability, they've never done the traditional medicine route. They're hanging out in the alternatives. They've always hung out in the alternatives. You think Tom Brady is doing the standard medical care? He's not. He's not doing any of that. So I think like what we have to realize with this movement and the technology, Sean, that you offer, like as far as if we could talk about the future of healing and a couple success stories, I think that would bring it full scope for our audience.
Yeah, well, John, once again, you know, this is, you know, you're also a huge pioneer in this. So there's a lot that I've learned from you personally, which I'm very grateful for. And actually, one of the technologies right here is the Celestial Pod, which we've got. And, you know, these are all technologies that are enabling people to live healthier, happier lives. And of course, you bring up a good point with Tom Brady. You know, there's a lot of celebrities, a lot of athletes. You just had an amazing video on your channel with Brian Holloway from the NFL. And, you know, there's a lot of people now that are saying, how can I live a healthier, happier life? It's not about necessarily letting the wheels fall off the car, but trying to keep them on and change the oil and do all these things. So as far as technologies go, you know, some of my favorite technologies that I've been able to work with would be the multi-wave oscillators. Those are the Tesla Likovsky oscillators. the plasma technology, the plasma chamber, the plasma Baxter plasma medbed chamber, and these things that are throwing off literally like 3,500 frequency sets to run. And I've seen like literally miraculous things come from that. And those are people that have come in that have issues maybe with Lyme, or maybe it's Parkinson's, that they're seeing really fast turnarounds. They're seeing like real solid benefits right away, like improvements right away. The Tesla vibration plate, right? Something as simple as that vibrational plate, where you're stimulating, you're sending messages up through the neural pathways. So if you're suffering from a stroke and your left side of your body has been um, kind of disabled, you're able to get all those signals back and regain control of your body. And John, some of the people that even benefit from that are the people in wheelchairs, people that are unable to walk, where they can literally sit down and put their feet on it from a chair. And what does that do? It starts stimulating growth of muscle tissue, which then in turn actually helps strengthen the skeletal system. John, one of the quotes that, or one of the statistics that I find very terrifying, is that 30% of people that break their hip in their 60s or older will not recover from that. And that is a huge, huge number. 35%, or 35 out of 100 people. And I don't want to say namely women, but it seems to be mainly women that have that issue, that when they fall and they break that hip, they're going to be permanently disabled and probably never walk again. And how do you fix something as simple as that? You get a vibration plate. You start standing on it, and all you're doing at that point is building your muscle tone and keeping your muscle mass, which in turn builds your skeletal system. It keeps your thighs strong, your hips strong. And now if you have an issue, you're not terrified, you're falling on muscle. You've got a strong hip, and you've got a strong skeletal system in place. And so I think that, we can get into the medbed stuff, which is very sophisticated, but I like to stay to the very ground-based technology that's very simple, that affects everyday people, and go after big statistics, because I hate to see people falling over, breaking their hip. I hate to see people, terrified that they might slip, like living in such a fearful state that if they slip because their friend slipped, or their mom slipped, or somebody slipped and they broke their hip, and then they went downhill, and the next thing you know, they're living in a bed, they can't get out and they can't walk. So maintaining health, trying to do what you can, utilizing just the most basic core technology, something as simple as a vibration plate. And if you can't walk, put it under your feet and start building that tissue. And if you have sensitive, and let's say you're losing control of certain parts of your body, the right and left hand side, from a stroke, and reestablishing those neurons, the connection from the foot to the brain and the hand to the foot. And then you can get into the plasma based technology, which is the Rife technology, which is nowadays it's third generation technology, where you can help work on issues or help address things like Lyme and all these other diseases. John, we're learning a lot right now, just something as simple as Epstein-Barr. It's like, yes, it's part of Lyme, but now they're connecting Epstein-Barr into a whole host of other possible issues that are health related. And if you have a simple technology, like you've got them there, where you can just go in and dial in a frequency set to go after Epstein-Barr, that's a powerful piece of technology. So, I love medbed technology. Like you said, I deal with people every day. And when you get into the medbed subject, everybody's like, I need a medbed. And I get that. And nobody wants them to be released more than you do, more than I do. But with that being said, if you do some due diligence, if you go out and look right now, you will find that these greats, the Teslas, the Lakovskis, the Rifes, there's a lot of technology out there right now. Something as simple as the Tesla vibration plate. And John, I'm going to tell you a quick story, and I'm going to finish it off here and let you give the goodbye. When Tesla first developed that vibration plate, Mark Twain, or Samuel Clements, aka Mark Twain, was in his lab, And Tesla told him, hey, you don't want to stay on this thing too long. Now, 10 minutes on the vibration plate is equal to an hour running. And it's also used right now to train Olympic athletes, a lot of other things about that. But Clemens thought he was really smart and basically said, no, I can do it. I can do it. And he sat on it. He sat on it too long and then made an emergency run to the bathroom where Tesla giggled, thought it was incredibly funny. But, you know, Tesla, this is another Tesla technology that's out there today, very inexpensive, something that you can get in a lot of different places. I know, John, you've got them, we've got them. But with that being said, do everything you can to stay healthy, maintain good health. You know, the technology is great, but it's all up to you to try to do your part and stay active and stay healthy and stay informed.
Sean, how do people find you, and where do you have any information on where you want to see this go? If you could let us know those two things, I really appreciate it.
Thanks, John. So you can go to our website, which is healthylifetechnology.com, healthylifetechnology.com, where we go in and find some of the best products that are out there and a lot of the newest and highest technologies that are being released. And our goal is to source out and find the inventors and find the people that are producing the technologies and let them tell their story. Because, you know, John, like with you and the amazing products that you've got, which we're honored to be able to carry and sell, a lot of times it's a pain to purpose story where something really bad has happened and, you know, you had to figure out a solution and you had to push through a lot of pain and suffering and say, I know that doesn't have to be this way. And then you overcome the odds and, you know, you go back to living a healthy lifestyle, and then you take that knowledge and experience and share that with others. So, you know, with that being said, I see the future of where we're going right now with these technologies becoming mainstream, with everyday people educating their friends, their neighbors, their relatives, and saying, hey, you know what, this is some new stuff that's out there. It's you know, it's very affordable. Some of this stuff, $100, $200 or less or more, but it's not about spending money. It's about maintaining knowledge. And I want to see these types of technologies like the grounding technology, the anti-age, this is going to be in every home every day. And the knowledge that we don't have now will be common knowledge that all of us have that we share. And we're going to live in a world like the Jetsons, where we're flying around in space cars and we have access and we have all these technologies at home and we're all living healthier, happier lives.
Thank you very much, Sean. It was so nice to have you on the show. Your wisdom is being spread out there, and people are waking up to the possibility of a better future and healthier, happier lives without side effects. So thank you for everything for what you're doing, and we appreciate you very much.
And John, thank you, man, for everything you're doing. And for everybody out there, the one thing we all can do that we all share is we can all give out a lot of love and prayers to everybody out there. The love and the power to love and give compassion and unconditional love, that is the greatest power. That is the greatest frequency. And with that being said, John, thank you as always, brother. I love you, and I can't wait to catch up with you again soon.
Thank you, Sean. Thank you for being on the show. Appreciate you. Yeah, so there we have it. We had Sean Callahan. He's been in an industry of high-end medical devices. And there you have it, talking about medbed technology. You know, one of the things I'd like to bring up is the broken hip thing. I think in 2021, 2021, a lady had broken her hip on Thanksgiving. She had used the technology, and the doctor realized when she had a full hip replacement, I think it is called, grandma basically had a hip surgery, and she was able to make it to Christmas. She recovered 6 weeks ahead of time. The doctors thought, wow, this lady had a whole hip replacement, and within the time between Thanksgiving and Christmas, she had totally recovered without a walker. So that's the technology I'm talking about. And that leads us to our sponsor, Anti-Aging Bed. Anti-Aging Bed basically has 86 technologies, some of the best technologies in the world. They've won amazing rewards, including Bloomberg's #1 health technology in 2024. And if you're interested, check it out. There'll be a link below at antiagingbed.com, and check out some of the technologies like the anti-aging bed sleep system. There's a new video out that you can watch the different elements of this product and how it was the evolution into the holographic scan medbed. Without the evolution of the sleep system in your home, there would be no way that we would even get to frequency medicine due to the understanding of grounding. And from there, lead us into a 9 technology, frequency, vibration, energy system inside of a hard shell hyperbaric called the holographic scan medbed, likely the most powerful health technology in the world. Check us out, sponsor antiagingbed.com. And as we go through the call today, that I have this amazing call with you guys, how do you get involved? How do you get involved with this movement? Make America healthy again. Let's change the dynamic that we see out in the public sector. Let's get involved by sharing, liking, commenting on this podcast. It really does help. We're fairly new, and anyone that can share and get the message out, I think we could help a lot of people. Honestly, we've helped thousands and thousands of people already, not only on a global scale, but here in the United States. The timing is right. The time to push this technology forward. If you're interested in being an affiliate or a partner, a distributor, a franchise of this health technology, type in Baxter. Type in Baxter in the comments below. Someone will get you information about how you can get involved. This is something simple. We're a straightforward company. No one's asking you for money. And even if it doesn't work, no one's asking you for money as well. So we have it to the level. If you have a cell phone and you have the ability to get the information out, you could do this for free. So that's how you get involved. And you could actually make an above average income. Believe it or not, the wellness industry is a $1.5 trillion industry over the next 5 years. There's nothing more explosive than this. Remember, RFK is breaking apart the monopoly called Big Pharma. No more billionaires being made for making people sick. So the time is now. And thank you guys for joining this amazing podcast, The Baxter Effect. We'll continue pushing the narrative. We'll continue getting the truth out there. We'll talk about the pros and the cons. We'll get behind what's behind this purple door by giving you honest truth, by allowing you to choose what truth really is. And in that sense, that's all that really matters. If you can find the truth, and if you can make these muddy waters clear, that you can navigate this world at a better potential for yourself and your family. That's why I'm here, guys. So thank you guys so much for joining the show. Like I said, if you want more information, type in Baxter, and we appreciate all the likes, comments, and shares. It helps get the message out. So thank you guys once again. Have a great day.